All right. So let us start slowly. So as you see, oh sorry, I I will recall little bit from the earlier lecture as well as what is happening in the assignments. And I would also recommend to the participant that they should come forward and present their solutions rather than listening solutions from the TAs. That is a good opportunity for you to teach also. So make use of this. All right. So start with the group G. So GBA group. And remember, we are writing always multiplicatively unless we specify. It is abelian definitely. If it is abelian, we will denote it mostly by plus. You will see the occasion like that and you have to change accordingly. Now we have seen conjugation action. Action of G on G. And if you want to avoid confusion, write x equal to G. Otherwise, I've seen with many students there is a confusion. So I would recommend write x equal to G just for, and this was the action homomorphism is that kappa. G to S of G, any G going to kappa G. Kappa G is the inner automorphism of G. This is X going to Gx G inverse. This is not only bijective map, but actually it belongs to automorphism or G. Or G is by definition set of all automorphisms of G, and that forms a group under composition. So this is, I will keep calling this as automorphism group of G. Group of G. All right. So actually the image goes inside what? In this case, one calls it also G operates by automorphisms. So that means that it's not just bijective map, it is that structure preserving map of the group. So similar we have seen, similar example we have seen in case of vector space. V is a vector space. And vector space over K. Then you remember what we denoted GLKV. What was this? This was precisely the automorphisms of V as a K vector space. And so this is also group. This is automorphism group of V. Right? So as Nitin just now said, when you work with a different subject, that categorical language is very, very useful. So I am also starting to use it from today more. So therefore, who is operating on vectors on V? GLKV operating. GLKV is operating on V by automorphisms. So what was the operation? GLKV cross V to V, any G or sigma or F, depending on what we are used to in what subject. This was linear algebra, so we were used to linear maps, we are denoting by small f and so on. So therefore I use f, and this is going to f of u. So this is just an evaluation map. And what was the action homomorphism? That is from GLKV to GLKV. Actually, it should go to, in this case, it should go to S of V, because in this case, this is our X, and this is the group. But this, the image actually goes inside GLKV. Not only bijective, but it is linear. So this is F going to F. This is actually an identity map. It is so natural, right? So then this extra adjective is added to that, operates by automorphisms. In this case, actually one can say G operates on G by inner automorphisms, and so on. All right, now I want to extend this conjugation action. Yes, please. Anybody has a doubt? You can ask, no problem. All right, I want to extend the conjugation operation. So G is a group. And now I take the power set of G, all subsets of G, and that is my X. And this conjugation action, I want to extend it on PG. So what is that? So I should tell you where, what is the map? I will tell the operation map. That is easier in this case, or even otherwise also. This cross PG to PG. I want a map which should satisfy 1 and 2 of the operation. So take any G and take any subset A and map it to G times A. What is G times A by definition? It is clear. What should it mean? That take all elements of A and multiply by G. So G times A, where A is in A. So this is also another subset of G. And obviously, when G is identity, this is A itself. And also the second condition is trivial. That is, if I take G prime, then GA, that is same thing as taking G prime G in the G and then multiplying by A. So this is indeed an operation map. But now, what was my action? I want to take a specific action on G, that conjugation action. Therefore, if this is the conjugation action, so we are assuming we are extending the, so that means the GA is nothing but this one is GA G inverse. So we should denote for that action, you can denote it simply by GA G inverse, and then this will also be G small a G inverse as A varies in A. So we have extended conjugation action to power set. Now, whenever you have an action or operation map of any group on any other set or any set, you should ask what are the stabilizers, what are the orbits. That is always, and try to see what they are. So what are the stabilizers? So these are, what is the stabilizer? Let us first write that. That is, we are writing by this notation, G suffix A. What is this? They are precisely all conjugate subsets, all those G in G, such that this G inverse is A. Note that all these subsets have the same cardinality. If all these, so you have to note here that cardinality of A is always equal to cardinality of G inverse for any G. That is where group is very important to check this. You have a bijective map. In fact, this map A going to G inverse, this map itself is a bijective map because you can write down its inverse. Its inverse is G inverse AG. So the stabilizers are this, and these are the isotropy. Isotropy or stabilizer are the same. Words were different, so these are the isotropy at A, capital A. We have seen this operation on G. So what was that? If I take A equal to singleton, what in our earlier notation? So G. So if A is singleton, let us say X, then isotropy at X is precisely what we call it a centralizer. So this is the centralizer of X in G. Then this X is also in G, note that. All right, and then also we have noted that note that this actually one denote this isotropy at capital A to be N G A, and then it is called, it is note that this NGA is the biggest. It's a subgroup is clear because it is isotropy. The biggest subgroup of G such that this A is normal there, such that A, this conjugation which operates on A. For it to operate on A has to go inside A under conjugation, but that is what by definition. So therefore, this is the, so among G, so G may not operate on A because A may go outside A under the conjugation. But if I take elements from this isotropy, it will operate on J by restriction. And it is the biggest subgroup like that with that property. All right, and what is the kernel of this action? So what is the kernel? Kernel of the induce operation of NGA on A is what? Is precisely the intersection of all ZGA. Which one calls it ZGA? Remember, ZGA is the centralizer. This is called a centralizer of A in G. So what does it say? So I want to write that result. So that means, so you can note this. So I am writing the result here for every subset A of G, subset only. The centralizer ZGA is a normal subgroup. Of G. Not of G, of NGA, because this group is operating. You see, this group is operating. So it is the kernel of that action homomorphism. So therefore, it is normal in that this. Okay, but then what is the now if I want to apply orbit stabilizer theorem to this action, then what do I know? The index of NGA in G, because this NGA is the isotropy at A. So I want to apply, maybe I said wrong sentence. I want to apply this operation, conjugation operation on the power set, and then look at A. This is isotropy. The index of the isotropy equal to the orbit. So therefore, what do you get? And the centralizer. So these are index equal to the number of subgroups, number of subsets, not subgroup, because we are only looking at subsets which are conjugate to A. Because the orbit is precisely the conjugate subsets of A. When I say conjugate subset, means like this, GAG inverse, those are the conjugate subsets. So the number of conjugate subsets equal to the orbit, the cardinality of the orbit, and that cardinality of the orbit equal to the index of the normalizer. So that is all right. This, but the subset, if I take now A equal to subgroup, suppose I take A equal to H subgroup, then what do you get? Let me write that as precisely. So that I want to write that as a proposition. All right. What is the proposition? So the normalizer NGH of H in G is the biggest subgroup of G such that H is normal in NGH. That is one. Further, the index of this normalizer is cardinality of the conjugate subgroups of H. And we know already, so this and is a divisor of index of H. If, of course, here, if GH is finite, otherwise you cannot say it divides. Is it clear? Is it clear or not? If it is not, please ask me. Hello?
Yes, sir.
It's clear?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah.
So that was the conjugation action on the subgroup, on the power side. So we are taking a particular subgroup, fixing a subgroup. So what was done in the exercises yesterday by Ponoshi, I will recall. So if H is a subgroup, and we have these left cosets G by H, this is the set of left cosets of H in G, and I want to denote this by X suffix H. So these elements of this set are precisely XH. X is variable. They are not all different. So that is the set. And what did we say? G operates on this. G operates on this by left multiplication. So operation map is this. So G comma XH is going to GXH. Or if you want to write the action homomorphism, that is this. XH I should write. That is G going to, now I need a bijective map from XH to XH. This is multiplication by G. So any XH is going to GXH. And then she found two observations were made yesterday. One of them, G operates transitively. On XH. And the kernel of this action homomorphism, kernel of this theta, is precisely what? What was the kernel? What was the kernel? That was precise. Why are you not answering? Hello?
Sir, it was intersection X, H, X.
Very good. Intersection G, H, G inverse, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And this is normal subgroup because it's a kernel. All right. And this is, in fact, this is the biggest normal subgroup contained in H. And what was that NH? That was the biggest subgroup where H is normal. And this is the biggest subgroup which is contained in H and it is normal. So this also deserves some particular name. So that I am going to denote by KGH. Biggest normal subgroup contained in H. That is also obvious, right? All right, and then if I go mod G, so go mod this subgroup G mod KGH. This will be then a subgroup of a sub GH. This is injected group homomorphism. Right? In particular, if G by H is finite, then this group is finite. Then, and therefore this group is finite. Then G KGH G by this is finite, and therefore index of H in G will divide this index. So this G colon KGH. This is by Lagrange theorem. Right? And further, any H this all right. So this is finite, and this should divide. What I wanted to say was this divides. I have written something wrong. Ulta, I have written other way. I wanted to see this is a subgroup of this. So this, sorry, I have written the other way. This should divide the order of this. So that is G index KGH should divide this order, that is index of H in G, then factorial. This is by Lagrange. All right. So if this is finite, then this is also finite, and this number should divide the order of this group, which is factorial. That's what I wanted to say. All right. I want to write one nice corollary to this. So corollary. So we are in this situation, G finite group, and H is subgroup, H subgroup of G, such that index of G, index of H in G is the smallest prime divisor. Prime divisor of the order of G. Let's call it P. Then I want to say that then in this case KGH equal to H is normal in G. Once I prove this equality, normality is clear. So in particular, if G is a finite P group, then every subgroup of G of index P is normal. All right. So doesn't it follow from above? Let us write proof 1 or 2 lines. Proof. What do we know? We know this KGH is normal. That obviously we know. Normal we know. And what do you know? That if you have a prime divisor of the index, if you have any prime divisor Q of this, and we observe that this index divides the index of H. But this is P factorial because we have given G's index of H in G is P, which is the smallest prime divisor. But this Q also divides that. So Q has to be P. So that implies Q equal to P since P is the smallest prime. So P is the smallest prime. Of order of G. All these are divides order of G. And therefore, what do we know? We know therefore index of KGH equal to index of H in G, and therefore one is contained in the other. Therefore, we prove that KGH equal to H, and that's it. All right. So the next, now I wanted to recall a couple of things, which. So first of all, we have seen this XH operates, the G operates on XH by left multiplication. We saw transitively. Is this action simple transitive? Yes. Can you answer what is simple transitive means? Hello? Hello, is it transitive and?
The stabilizer is trivial. For
I am not able to hear your voice. Transitive and? Hello? Why are you not answering? Is it you forgot or you don't want to answer, or what is the reason?
Transitive and stab x is trivial for some x.
Isotropy. Stab means stabilizer.
Yeah, stabilizer. Yes.
So that means one stabilizer, if it is trivial, then all stabilizers will be trivial because the action is transitive. Right?
Yes.
So my question is this action simple transitive? You understand the question? Is
Yes, sir.
yes? Is the action of G on XH simple transitive? Simply transitive? That is the question I'm asking. And answer is yes or no? Why is it taking so long? Do you know the orbit, the stabilizers? You
Yes,
know already. No? What is the stabilizer? That is the index. I mean, index of the stabilizer. If it is trivial, it will be the order of G, isn't it? But what is the index? Why? I don't understand why it is so. Why don't you answer? You have computed the isotropy, no? Isotropy of this action, have you computed or not in the last tutorial session? So what are the isotropies? What are the isotropies? So what is, if you take any x in xh, can you write down the isotropy at x? This is by definition what? This is by definition of all those elements of G such that this x is fixed there. So Gx equal to x. And what is Gx? So this is x is our xh. So let us write it xh. xh. So here we should write Gxh equal to xh, right? And this I know that we have analyzed in the tutorial session. What is this? This equivalent to saying x inverse Gx belong to H. This is equivalent to saying G belongs to X, H, X inverse. So therefore, this isotropy is the conjugate subgroup. And there is no reason why should it be trivial. In fact, if this is trivial, H will also be trivial, no? So it's not simple. Is that clear? Should I go slow or are you interested? Not interested. Hello? I have to call you by name now.
Clear,
Yes,
sir.
Akshay.
It's clear, sir.
Yes, please.
Yes, sir. It is clear, sir.
It's clear, no? Then why are you guys
Yes, sir.
not watching? All right. So this action is transitive but not simple. It's not simply transitive action. So I am going to make a definition and therefore I need all this. I'm going to make a general definition. So when I say when the action is transitive, so I'm going to use the word homogeneous. Homogeneous space. Homogeneous G space. What is homogeneous G space? That is a set X where G is acting, G acts on X transitively. If that is the case, I will say G is a homogeneous, X is a homogeneous space. X is a homogeneous space. That is the language I am going to use. And if the action is simple transitive, so simply transitive, I am going to say that X is a fine G space. Is that clear, the notion?
Could you repeat this definition once, please? Your
Sorry,
voice got cut off.
your voice is splitting. Who is talking? Ishan?
Sir, yes, sir. That's the
Yes.
problem. I couldn't hear this last definition that you mentioned. When is it a homogeneous G space?
If G is operating on X simple transitively,
Yes, sir.
then I will call X to be a affine G space.
Yeah. Okay. And if it's just what about the thing you've written above, transitive and homogeneous G space? Could you mention that once more, please?
If I say if G acts, so let me rub here, which is not needed. If G acts transitively on X, then I will say X is a homogeneous space, homogeneous G space.
All right, thank you.
Then we say X is a homogeneous G space. Now, why did I introduce these notions? Because I want to do some geometry. And ultimately the geometry, along with this and along with linear algebra, we will do some geometry, which will be called affine geometry. That is the plan. Okay, so I will not be able to do it today, but what I want to do, so one thing I want to do, I want to characterize all homogeneous G spaces. No, what do I mean by characterize? Up to isomorphism. So again, what does this mean? So this will involve the following. So whenever I have two G sets, X and Y, G sets, then we have defined what is the homomorphism from X to Y of G spaces, G sets, homomorphisms from X to Y. They are the maps from X to Y so that they are compatible with the G actions. So such that f of G times X is same as G times fx. Now note here, we are writing the same, but here the action is this, here this is the action of small g on fx. Fx is an element in Y. So if this happens for every x in X and for every g in G, we call it a G homomorphism or G or homomorphism of G sets.
Sir,
Yes.
can I confirm something, please? This category of G sets that you've got, it's just functors
Yes,
from
that
BG
is-
to
that
sets
is what I'm
with
saying.
natural
That is-
transformations between them, right?
Sorry?
This category that you have is just functors from BG to set and
There is
natural
no
transformations
functor.
between
There is
them.
no functor. I am not talk about it functor. I only define what is the category of G sets. Category of G sets. So what should it be? The objects of this category should be sets, G sets, and we have to give morphisms.
Yeah.
The morphisms, G morphisms, they are the maps which are compatible with the G actions.
Okay, but that is precisely natural transformations between functors, right? I know you haven't done this. It's just that that terminology is more familiar to me. That's why I was saying it in this.
That is not functor from where to where.
BG to sets. So every
What is
G set
BG?
X.
What
So
is
the
BG?
group, yeah. So BG is a group is a category with one object, and the group. If
That
the
is
group
more
has,
complicated than what I'm saying.
Hmm.
I'm simply saying you consider the set maps which are compatible with the G actions, and they are called the G homomorphisms from X to Y.
Mhm.
All right. So don't think in a complicated way. And they form a category. That all that I am saying that the G sets form a category with G morphisms. All
Sir?
right. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Sir, what are G sets? Like
G
are they
set.
all-
When I say G set, that means G is operating on X.
Okay, so like in the category of G sets, the objects will be
See,
all
you
the sets.
are talking about category. You are talking category. So what is that category? Can you answer me?
No, sir. Like I am asking, like in the category of G sets that you have defined,
Yes.
the objects will be all of the sets, right?
No, objects are the sets where G is operating.
Sir, how do we know like on which sets G is operating?
You have already given G. G is a group already given, right? You are starting with group G. And then you are collecting all sets where G is operating. Like G is also there, conjugation operation that is there. Or G is with another operation is also there. So these are two different G sets. I've been saying that on the same set, G can operate in many ways. So those are different G sets. Now is it clear? See, things are not clear to you. So please either ask, there is a communication gap and this gap is going to increase. So I want to make it clear what we are talking.
Sir, like
Yes.
you are given a set G, then all
Listen,
these
Ishan,
objects.
Ishan, I have given a group G. I started with a group G. That G is
Sir,
a fixed group. G is a
I'm
fixed.
asking a different question.
Yes, what is the question?
So like we are given a set or a group G, right?
Yes.
So now what are these objects X and Y?
Which objects?
G sets.
G set is a set where the given group G is operating there. Understood?
Okay, but like if I have to work with this category, like how do I know
you have
on
not
which
even
set?
understood. See, you have not
G
even
set.
understood. You have not even let me complete it, the definition of a G set category, and then you are talking about this category.
It's like what my confusion is, how do we know on which sets the group G is acting?
See, for example, when you say let X be a topological space. Now, what do you mean by that? The same question will arise there, no? When you say, for example, X is a topological space. Just
Yes,
now,
sir.
Nitin was discussing category of topological spaces.
Yes,
Then how
sir.
do you know that X has a topology? That means it is given to you. Let set X be there and let topology also be given, then you call it a topological space. On the same set, you can have many topologies. So there will be different topological spaces. Like X could be, one could be discrete topology, other could be indiscrete topology, and so on. Isn't it? So when you write topological spaces, how do you write them? How do you write them? X, comma tau A. Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Not tau A, tau X. Where the tau X is a subset of power set satisfying blah blah blah.
Yes.
Then you call it a topological space. Now I can take different topology on the same set X. Will it also be a topological space? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
So when you say category of topological spaces, what do you mean? Objects are topological spaces. So in this, what are the topological spaces? They are sets with the topology given.
Yes, sir.
Now, like that, what I'm saying is, I have given a group G and I have given a G set X. So where G is operating on X, G operates on X or acts on X. Acts on X. That I call it a G set. G set X. That means just this. G operates on X. Now you saw on the same set X, G can operate in many ways.
Yes, sir.
So when you fix an operation of G on X, that becomes a one G set. Your different operation will give you different G set. All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Now is it clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So whenever you want to describe a category, you first describe the objects and then describe the homomorphisms from the object, one object to the other object. Like here, in case of topological spaces, homomorphisms are precisely the continuous maps. That means continuous map means inverse image of a open set is open set. Right? For example, identity map on any topological space is continuous. Also, any map on one, you can take the same set X and one topology arbitrary and the other topology to be discrete topology or indiscrete topology. This one is indiscrete. Then this any map will be continuous map here because there are only two open sets, empty set and whole set. When you pull them back, they are empty set and the whole set. So therefore, that is always continuous. But this map is not continuous in the arbitrary topological spaces, arbitrary X and two different topologies. No. So therefore, the condition on the maps comes from the topologies you consider on the same set in a different topologies. No. Now there similarly, my group is fixed and X is a G set. That means the action is given, and that we call it a G set. So therefore, like you have denoted topological spaces like this pair. So G sets also you should denote X theta, where theta is, let me write it theta X, where theta X is a group homomorphism from G to S of X. Group homomorphism. So you may call G set to be a pair. Now if I take different theta, if I take theta to be trivial map, then I get like a indiscrete or discrete topology. Similar to that. Now is it clear? So the G set, category of G sets, their objects are pairs, where theta X is this group homomorphism from G to S of X. And now, what are the morphisms or homomorphisms? If you have one like this and the other like that, this map, first of all, it is a set map like topological spaces, and then it should be compatible with this theta X and theta Y. That means you will have such a diagram. This map F, the set map F will induce a map from here to here. Y here, I have written Y here. This is induced by F, and this is theta X, this is theta Y, and this is the identity map. This diagram should be commutative. And what is this map F? This is map SF. So what is the map? Any permutation. How will you get a permutation on Y? Simply you compose. So this is a map from X to X, and you want a map on Y. So there is F here. So you change it here. It will go here. Right? So this is bijective. And then you define a map. How do you define a map SF? How will you define so that the diagram is commutative? Take the image of X and then you define this map. So the G goes here, this G will go there. So that will be the definition of this. And so this diagram is commutative. So better in this operation definition, you see it better, because what do you need? You need such a diagram to be commutative. This is F. This is that operation map. This is F cross ID. And so this map we are writing it as x comma x comma. So I wrote the other way. G cross x, G cross y. These are the operation maps given. So therefore, G x, that is going to Gx, where Gx is going under F is F of Gx, and this one is going under this map is identity of G cross F. So this is going to G Fx, and this should, where does this go? This goes to under this, it goes to Gfx, and we are demanding this equal. That means this diagram should be commutative. So whereas here you have to appropriately look at what is the map from Sx to Sy. Is that clear now?
Sir, I
Yes,
have-
sir.
So this
Sir?
will be